in and out. I'm glad you're here. That's delightful. We're recording. Yay! Hi, guys. It's the second week of Voice Body Kirtan. I'm so excited. I've been practicing and having fun with my harmonium for you. And also, I'm having fun right now trying to be in the shot for the computer. We'll keep perfecting this. This is the new space. So for those of you watching who want to join in New York in the future, you're so welcome to come join us here on 20th Street. And otherwise, so glad to have you online. Okay, so, and let's see. Okay, no, these are text messages from people. These are text messages from people that are not here. Okay, so that's good. So the theme for today that I thought would be really fun to work with is greetings/beginnings, because Wednesday night is a full moon. The Jewish calendar is a lunar calendar, which also means that this full moon in the Jewish calendar is the new year. So it's Rosh Hashanah. And in addition to that, there is the beginning of fall, right? There's the beginning of fall this week. So a lot of new stuff happening, a lot of new energy. I've been talking to some people who agree with me that I can sort of palpably feel that it's like that weird season between the end of summer. I'm sort of sweaty from carrying my harmonium on the subway right now, but also it's kind of fall. As I was driving down from Montreal between last week and this week, all of the trees were starting to change colors, and it was really, really beautiful. So it's just an interesting time, and I think it's nice to acknowledge that time. So I thought that's what today could be about. Okay, so with that being said, I thought what we could do for our warm-up is circling, because the circle of life, right? The circle of a year, etc. So I figured let's use that idea and let's circle our bodies. So I know all of us are sort of in a situation that we can't stand up, so why don't we do a sitting down warm-up? That's fine. So go ahead and start by circling your right wrist. Just circle your right wrist around. This will be a good warm-up for me for playing the harmonium for you. And if there's any sound issues, will you guys just let me know? And then circle your wrist the other way. Amazing. Cool. And then circle your left wrist. And tap into your breathing as you do this. Just allow yourself to notice what your breath is doing, and then circle your left wrist the other way. Good. Let's circle our shoulders up and back, up and back. I also really need this warm up right now because I was at jury duty all day, and depending upon how things go tomorrow, I might wind up on a trial. We'll see. So circle up and back, and then circle forward. Oh, maybe sigh out a sound, whatever sound you want to make. Good. And then let's drop our chin towards our chest. Right ear over to the right shoulder. Chin towards your chest. Left ear over to the left shoulder. Chin towards your chest. Right ear over to the right shoulder. Chin towards your chest. And left ear over to the left. And then let's go down and to the right. And this time we're going to go all the way around, but instead of letting your head crunch back, the chiropractor's listening, so this is important, draw a rainbow in the sky with your nose so that you're lengthening through the suboccipital region. Good. And then come down, and let's do that circle a couple times. Beautiful. Elizabeth, you've heard me talk about the rainbow before, yeah? If not, then yay. I'm glad it's coming up. And then a rainbow in the sky. And then when you get over to the left side, let's switch directions. Rainbow up and around the opposite way. And down and around. Rainbow. And up and around. And to the side and down. And I lost track, but let's say that's the last time. Beautiful. Now, leave your chin down towards your chest, and let me scoot back so you guys can see me better. Interlace your hands like this. Bring your hands up and around to the back of your head. And then just let your elbows hang down towards the floor. So you're not pulling your head down towards the floor, you're just letting the weight of your arms give you a stretch through the back of the neck. And now let's start in with some sound. So inhale here, and sigh it out on an ah sound. Ah. 2 more times like that. Inhale here. Sigh out any energy you need out on an ah. Ah. 1 more time. Inhale. And sigh it out. Ah. Good, beautiful. Go ahead and gently let your hands come down and roll your perhaps more buoyant head back up to the center. Fabulous. Okay, in whatever way you can, wherever you are, if you can, stand up, great. If you can't, that's fine. But just circle your legs, your feet, your knees around a little bit so we get the lower half of our body going. And then the other way. Maybe you do a little, I don't know, what is that, a 1950s dance or something? Good, and a little bit of hips. Wiggle your hips. Circle your hips around. Circle your hips the other way. We gotta do this while we're sitting at stoplights in our car, right? Otherwise our sacrum gets locked up. Good, amazing. All right. Chew your lips around on an M sound. Good, chew your lips up. Chew your lips down. Chew your lips to the left. Chew your lips to the right. Stick out your tongue and say ah. Ah. Good. Now leave your tongue outside of your mouth. And in the theme of circling, we're going to circle our tongue 4 times around to the right, outside of our mouth. 4 times around to the left, outside of our mouth. Ready? Here we go. Leave it outside your mouth, shake it out. Good. Bring it inside your mouth. Let your jaw hang loose, shake out your jaw. Very nice. And then massage your jaw. And this one's one of my favorites. Massage your scalp around on your skull. Sometimes it gets stuck. Good, and I didn't say so yet, but if you need to wipe off your lips, go ahead. Amazing. Okay. How are we feeling? Good, a little bit warm? Good. So, so the theme is greetings and beginnings, and we'll play with the onset of sound a little bit as well. When we're chanting and we're thinking about our chanting, we're gonna play with what is the feeling of the onset of sound. You may remember that last week, our theme was intention, and we talked about guts and how intention comes from our guts, and how the Lord Ganesh, the elephant god, has a belly that contains the entire universe. And from that belly, like a fountain, flows up and out intention and voice and emotion and flow, right? So now we're going to sort of think about that moment that the onset of sound occurs. What is the beginning of the actual sound, right? For those of you who know the way my higher voice works class works, I'm taking a sip of water now. For those of you who know about the sequence of that class, I argue that impulse is actually the beginning of the way we make sound. And I do actually think that that impulse does come from our guts, comes from all of the cells of our body. But there is a moment where there's an onset of sound at the vocal folds themselves. So that's something we can be curious about, is when does the flow of energy and breath become vibration, right? Let's just play with that for a second. So we're just going to play with the sound ah, and just get curious about what's the connection between the onset of power from my belly and the onset of vibration at the vocal cords, right? Without making anything happen, or at least not making anything happen here, what do you feel? Let's just sigh out an ah 3 times and just notice what you feel. So empty your breath to start, and then allow an inhalation in. Just sigh it out, easy, easy. Ah. Yeah, you don't even have to make it long. Allow a breath in. Oh. Is it simultaneous? Is it not quite simultaneous? Oh. Interesting. Okay. And we'll play with the same idea now as we move into using the instrument. We will play with this idea. Oh, let me open up the stops. I was like, why is it not making enough noise? There we go. We'll play with this idea as we chant the sound Om. We started playing with the sound Om last week. We're going to do it again this week. So we'll chant the sound Om 3 times. Empty your breath down to the bottom of your breath. Allow a breath in. Just sitting in the vibrations that we created and invoked by chanting that sound Om. We talked a little bit last week about how that sound Om actually has 3 parts, a beginning, a middle, and an end, and really also a 4th part, the cycle back to the beginning. The beginning is the Ah, the second part is the Oo, and the closes it with the lips, right? Those sounds actually even correspond to the 3 planes of directions. An Ah is a very vertical sound in the pharynx and the throat. An Oo brings us into the sagittal plane, into the front and back. And an closes us towards an E sound, which would be wide as well, and then all the way to the closure, which in Sanskrit is called an Anushvara, which has the significance of being the closing or ending of something. It's a very powerful thing to actually end and disrupt the sound, right? So you can think about the Ah moving to the Oo to the but you can also think about all of the flow that happens through the body before that sound even gets shaped in the resonating chamber, right? Letting that all be one big flow. And also Om is the sound of the universe. In Sanskrit, it is, as I mentioned last week, it is a sound that when we use the mantra Om, it empowers all the other mantras that we're doing. Great. Okay. So I wanted to teach you a new mantra this week. This one has more Sanskrit in it. And this is actually something that I chant most days. It is called the Gayatri mantra. And the Gayatri mantra is a mantra to the sun, to Surya, the sun god. And it is all about greeting the sunrise. Now, traditionally, the Gayatri mantra gets done at sunrise, but it can also get done when the sun is at 12 o'clock noon, straight ahead, and also at sunset. So at those big moments where it's at those different places on the horizon or up in the top of the sky, we can chant the Gayatri mantra to give thanks to the sun. But because it is connected to sunrise most often, it is, I think, a beautiful mantra for beginnings for this theme that we have today. So I'm going to click on over and share my screen with you guys, and we will take a look at the Gayatri mantra. So there's Ganesh. I've added some pictures to our stuff, but here's the Gayatri mantra. And this picture actually that's there is a picture that I took this summer in Bali, in Sanur, which is on the east coast of Bali. It's a beach on the east coast of Bali. And I took this picture as I was watching the sunrise and chanting the Gayatri mantra. So I thought it'd be a perfect companion for this. Okay, so let me pronounce these words for you, and then we'll talk about what they mean and pronunciation, and then I'll teach you the mantra and how to chant. So it starts with Om. You're familiar with Om, and then it's pronounced like this: Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha. Now, Svaha, or I could have written it with a W, Swaha. Same word. The V and the W are sort of similar. They're halfway between the two in Sanskrit, so it's all one sound. Svaha. I think it's a little bit closer to a V, is helpful to think about it that way. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bargo, and that BH is aspirated, which is something that happens in Sanskrit sometimes. Not the easiest thing to do, but you just add a little bit more breathiness to your H. Bargo, Devasya, Di Mahi, Diyo Yo Na, Prachodayat Om. So that's me pronouncing it. Let's slow it down and go one line at a time. Here we go. Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha. Go ahead. Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha. Very nice. I assume. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Here we go. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bargo Devasya Di Mahi. Go ahead. Bargo Devasya Di Mahi. Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat. And then we actually we repeat that whole sequence at least 3 times. We might do it more, and then the Om comes at the end, the last Om. Let's go through it one more time, just slowly all together, putting it all smushed together. Here we go. Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bargo Devasya Di Mahi. Diyo Yo Na Prachodayat Om. Beautiful. Now, a translation of this down below. We meditate on that most adored Supreme Lord, the Creator, whose effulgence, which is divine light, illumines all realms, physical, mental, and spiritual. May this divine light illumine our intellect. Now, here's the interesting thing about Sanskrit is a language in which not only the words have meaning, but the sounds themselves are chosen because they have particular vibrations. So for instance, a B sound, which is made with the 2 lips, B, B, has a particular idea behind it, versus a G sound, which has G, G, a guttural sound, right? So one of the sounds is labial, bilabial, and another sound is guttural. Let me, in fact, this is one of my Bibles of mantra yoga and primal sound. It's by David Frawley. It's a really, really beautiful book about the meaning of Sanskrit. Let me just read you a little bit. So I gave the example of the B versus the G. So let me give you an example of what the difference between those 2 things is, because there's actually, there's not so many G's in here, but we've got a lot of B's in there, a lot of bilabials. So, labial consonants develop the expansive energy of the U vowel vibration. He's referring back to vowels as well. Labial consonants like P and B project force and energy and can be the strongest of the consonants. The P sound indicates protection and power, both pushing out and drawing in. It is the sound of the male, the father, the protector, and provider. The buzz sound indicates circular expansion and development outward, being softer and rounder in its effect than pa, because if we were going to talk for a moment in sort of Western or at least international phonetic alphabet terms, the B is voiced, it has vibration from the larynx behind it, whereas the P does not. So essentially the labial consonants, which are with the lips, are more outward. And now you can probably imagine if we go to the guttural consonants like G and K, which are happening in the back of the mouth, those are going to have strong contact in their production and a pointed energy in their expression backwards, right? The K sound serves to stimulate, originate, and set in motion. So there we go, that's our beginnings. And the G sound, actually we talked about a little bit last week, is connected to Ganesh, right? It indicates movement, expression, achievement, accomplishment, structure, and order, right? So these different sounds have different meanings, which you don't need to really memorize all of them, or even if you're not curious, it's okay. But just thinking that, just realizing that there's not just a meaning to what we're saying here, but there's also a vibration to the sounds that we're making. So as you become more familiar with this mantra as we go through it, just allow that to be part of your consciousness. Okay? Here's how it goes. I'll go through it once. Actually, I'll go through it 3 times for you, and then I'll slow it down. We'll do it together. Om Bhurbhuvah Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvah Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvah Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. And then we can go into our Om, but now you're going to join me. Here we go slowly. Om Bhurbhuvah Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvah Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvah Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Again. Om Bhurbhuvah Svaha Tat Saviturvarenyam Bhargo Really nice. Beautiful. Now, if you saw on Instagram, and I think I also put it on Facebook, I've been playing pop songs on my harmonium too during the week while I play along. Because that's really fun too. I love this instrument. I'm having so much fun with it. And I promised you that we would do some pop songs too. So we're gonna combine what we just did with a song that I think you'll know. I realize I didn't write out the lyrics for you, but I think you'll know it and I can help you with the lyrics. And actually I was in an a cappella group in college and we called these shabumis, is what we called them, which is when you had one main song, but then like a little song got spliced in. So we're gonna do a shabumi. And it goes like this. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Go ahead and sing with me if you know it. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. So now I remember my chords. Hold on, I didn't practice this before. Let's do that again. Here comes the sun. Oh, D sharp. Here comes the sun, and I say, it's all right. And I practice this part for you too. Yeah. Little darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. And then let's see, this part goes. Let's see it. It goes sun. It goes sun, sun, sun. Here it comes. Here with me. Here we go. Sun, sun, sun. Here it comes. Good. Let's go back into Gayatri. Here we go. Om Gurva Swaha. Tapsavitur Varenyam. Vargo Devasya Dhimani. Dio Yona Prachodaya. Om Gurva Swaha. Tapsavitur Varenyam. Vargo Devasya Dhimani. Dio Yona Prachodaya. Om Gurva Swaha. Tapsavitur Varenyam. Vargo Devasya Dhimani. Dio Yona Prachodaya. Om Gurva Swaha. Tapsavitur Varenyam. Vargo Devasya Dhimani. Dio Yona Prachodaya. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Om Gurva Swaha. Tapsavitur Varenyam. Vargo Devasya Dhimani. Dio Yona Prachodaya. Om Gurva Swaha. Tapsavitur Varenyam. Vargo Devasya Dhimani. Dio Yona Prachodaya. Om Gurva Swaha. Tapsavitur Varenyam. Feel free to close your eyes. Vargo Devasya Dhimani. Dio Yona Prachodaya. Two more O's. Did you like that? Let me get a vote. Do we want more Here Comes the Sun? Back and forth? Yeah, I figured. Like, we want more Here Comes the Sun. Okay, let's leave this one for now. We'll come back to it. We'll do more Here Comes the Sun before the end. Let's move to another chant, which I wanted to mix in something today that is actually not Sanskrit. Oh, I've got a chat. Yes, indeed. Do I have a chat? Yes. Oh, good, Leslie. I'm glad you loved it. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to move to something that is not Sanskrit. So I grew up Jewish. I will be going to synagogue this week for Rosh Hashanah. I can't say I always go to synagogue every week, but the high holidays are very important. I'm one of those Jews. And you know, it's interesting, as I've been playing with this instrument and as I've been moving into the Kirtan stuff more, I do realize that a lot of my relationship with singing, a lot of my early relationship with singing comes from singing prayers at Hebrew school and Sunday school growing up as, you know, a Jewish kid, learning all this stuff. So I wanted to share with you today a song that we actually, well, not a song so much as a prayer, that we actually sang last week a little bit because it was our first time doing Kirtan ever. And I impromptu, my dad was on the line, and we chanted for you the Shehechiyanu, which is the prayer for new beginnings. But there's actually a really beautiful melody for this prayer, and I thought that since it is the new year this week, we might actually take the time and chant this one together. So I'm going to share my screen again so you guys can see the Shehechiyanu one here. And I gave you a picture there of traditional stuff for the new year is apples and honey, and the shofar, which is the ram's horn, gets blown, and then you've got some Hebrew there, and a pomegranate, which is very indicative of the season. So here is how this prayer goes. Again, we'll do the same thing we did before, and say the words, and then I'll teach you the melody. So you may be familiar with this if you have ever done a Jewish prayer before. The beginning part is often the same. It goes, Baruch atah Adonai. Go ahead with me. Baruch atah Adonai. Eloheinu melech haolam. Eloheinu melech haolam. And the melech, do you see the CH? That's like the ch sound, right, which is in Hebrew. So Baruch atah Adonai, same at the end of Baruch. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. And then it goes Shehechiyanu, V'kiyamanu, V'higiyanu, Lazman hazeh. Let's do the whole thing slowly all together. Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehechiyanu, V'kiyamanu, V'higiyanu, Lazman hazeh. Okay? And then you can probably tell from the bottom it goes, Amen. Yes? Translation. Blessed are you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe, who has given us life, sustained us, and helped us to reach this moment. similar to Sanskrit, and I think I started to say this and didn't fully finish saying it. One of the beautiful things about the Sanskrit language is that the words are so distilled, and so because of that vibrational quality, that you can take a single word and translate it many, many ways. To some degree, Hebrew is very similar. So blessed usually translates the same way, Baruch, blessed. But in terms of like Eloheinu, or Adonai is the name for God, in terms of Eloheinu, sovereign of the universe is just one way of saying it. With Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Melech is king and Haolam is of everything, right? I probably know Hebrew a little bit better than I know my Sanskrit. Yes, but the idea is Shehechiyanu is about sustenance, giving us life. Mikiyamanu is about sustenance, and Mihigiyanu is helping us to reach this moment, right? So beautiful. It goes like this. Baruch atah Adonai. Oh, I have to remember my stuff. Sorry, you guys, I should have gotten here a little earlier. I don't remember if I did this last night. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. That's it. Melech haolam. I think I was playing it lower. Let's do it that way. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. Melech haolam. Shehechiyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu. Lazman hazeh. Okay, so let's slow that down. That's basically the melody. Baruch atah. And by the way, guys, I took lots of piano growing up, but like this is me practicing again. So thank you for bearing with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Melech haolam. Shehechiyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu. Lazman hazeh. Good, let's repeat that. I'll keep getting better too. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Melech haolam. Shehechiyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu. Lazman hazeh. Again, that part. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Melech haolam. Shehechiyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu. Lazman hazeh. Good, the next part goes. Let's do that. Good, here we go from the top. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Melech haolam. Shehechiyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu. Lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Melech haolam. Shehechiyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu. Lazman hazeh. If I had you guys here, I would hand you a shaker. Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Melech haolam. Shehechiyanu v'kimanu v'higiyanu. Lazman hazeh. Shehechiyanu, Lasman what do you want to bring in this year? Cool. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you. Right. So that is our song, our prayer for bringing in something new, for our gratitude that we've gotten to this point. Amazing. Okay. Before we go, as promised, let's see, sorry, checking things. That took you back, Leslie, I'm glad. So great. So before we go, let's check in and just practice our Ganesh mantra from last week, and then we'll come back around to Gayatri as promised, and that'll be our plan for this evening, okay? So last week, we did the Ganesh mantra. Ganesh is the elephant god. He is the remover of obstacles. He has the universe in his belly. A translation of what we're saying here is, I see God in you. That's one way to say what Om Hare Om is. And then we find refuge in Ganesha. Ganesha is related to our first chakra, to our roots, to our right to be here, to our core. And then Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha is basically the invocation, is the mantra for Ganesh. And it essentially means salutations, remover of obstacles. So I won't say too much more about this one. We'll just dive right into this. And if this is new to you, follow along. Sharanam Ganesha, 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 Sharanam Ganesha. Next part. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. 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 Om Hare Hare Sharanam Ganesha, 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 Sharanam Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. 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 Om Hare Hare Sharanam Ganesha, 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 Sharanam Ganesha. Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. 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 Yona Prachonaya Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargavasya Dhimari Dhiyo Yona Prachonaya Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargavasya Dhimari Dhiyo Yona Prachonaya. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargavasya Dhimari Dhiyo Yona Prachonaya Om Bhurvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargavasya Dhimari Dhiyo Yona Prachonaya. 3 more ohms. Take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Notice the onset of your sound. Take another deep breath in. Just notice how you feel. Notice any vibrations. Notice what chanting does. Leslie, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I just unmuted my. That was really nice. I really liked
I
it.
think actually, for some reason, this was happening too with Elizabeth. The audio is not working. I don't know why. Maybe it's the connection. I don't think it's you. I think it might be the Zoom that we're on. Do you want to type to me? I'm sorry that we can't hear you.
You can't hear me now? No go? Mute? Okay.
Type to me and I'll read it. I'm sorry that I'm not giving you a chance to get to say out loud. I would love to hear your voice right now. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Anything specific you want to say? I'll just say while you're typing, something that happened, and for those of you watching at home, a couple little times my voice blipped and cracked. You might hear it, you might notice it. It might happen for you. It's okay, right? the whole idea is that our voice is like this stream, it's like this river, it's like this fountain, and there are so many reasons that we block it, so many reasons that blockages start to happen. And when those blips happening, it could be us not sending enough airflow through, it could be us pushing too much airflow through, but trust it is part of the process of how things even out, right? It's not evil, it's not bad, we don't go, oh my God, I suck. We just let the stuff happen, yeah? You say, my voice actually sounds more open and calm. I also did a little balancing yoga a few minutes ago. That's so awesome. I wish we could hear your voice. Please tune back next week, and if this happens next week, I'll cancel the call and restart the call so that I make sure that we can hear everyone's audio. Oh, I wonder, actually, does it have to do with me unmuting all? Try talking now.
Can you hear me now?
No, yeah, it's the call. Oh, man. Okay, well, I'm so glad you were here. And for those of you watching this recording later, I'm so glad that you watched to this point, because obviously if you're hearing me say this, you did. And yeah, and keep coming back. Thank you so much to my dear friend Brian for giving us this space in New York. Please, if you're here, come join me here. I know it'll take a little bit of time for this to pick up, and I sort of just, as you know, started this and was like, hey, I'm doing it, let's do it. So I will keep spreading the word, and let me put the call out to all of you that if this means something to you, and if you want it to keep happening, A, I love it, so it'll keep happening, but B, please invite people. Please let people know about this, okay? Amazing. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Happy New Year, as we say, Shana Tova, Shana Tova Tikatevu, and enjoy the first week of fall. Enjoy all of the new things that may be coming into your life. I wish new things for you and new energy and excitement. And I will see you, thank you, and I will see you next Monday at the same bat time, same bat place. We'll do other things. And then note that in October, we are switching to Wednesdays, because that was better for a lot of people. So we're going to switch to, including myself. So we're going to switch to Wednesdays. So delighted to have shared this with you. Everyone have a beautiful night. Bye. Thanks, Leslie.